I saw a comment from an audience member. They are, basically pointing out that PC players are taking jabs at console players about exclusivity. Maybe we could go back and think if the gaming industry would be where it is if PlayStation and Xbox was not in the market and all of this stuff. In fact, they even somehow started my video with a translation of the start of this video says it all. Exclusives on Xbox are, or PlayStation are bad, but PC exclusive games are good. I never said that. And I think a lot of people are in a position where they probably think something big about exclusivity, and they've accepted the premise in the gaming industry. I, on the other hand, I developed an anti-exclusivity stance when I was on a console playing, actually. Some of you think it's because I became a PC player, especially this comment. I don't know if maybe some of you think that, but if you do, I guess maybe we can set the record straight in this video. But this comment is really revealing. They said this. They said it got to the point PC players were taking, PC players and fanboys think that they're so above console players after taking jabs at Xbox because Microsoft went there to publish games and make more money because they could not outsell Sony on consoles alone. Sony is now hitting the reset button and PC players are taking jabs at them. But have PC players ever stopped to think where the industry would be? Let me give you a big story so that you can basically understand where I'm coming from. My disdain for exclusivity started when I wanted to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second game in the Tomb Raider series that was rebooted. At the time, I had a PlayStation 4. I heard about the launch. I was excited to continue playing the game, and I found out that it was an Xbox exclusive. I cussed Xbox out that day. I was so irate at the fact that a game that I had started playing would now basically go and be somewhat, money had it or some dealing would happen. Now, Square Enix is not without blame here. This is why I bring them up every time. I drag them into the conversation for coming out to say, well, we want to bring our games to Xbox after being in bed with PlayStation for so long on different games. So you can understand that I have not shifted from that position. I remain as consistent as I possibly can be on the fact that I am no fan of exclusivity. Now, I also will give concession and say, if it's your first party game, keep it exclusive because you made the game. Do what you will with it. But if it's a third party game, then the developers and the money hatter publisher is engaging in scummy practice because they want you, the consumer, to go buy a $500 device and engage in their artificial FOMO for you to play that game. That's where the rub is. Why would somebody hold a gamer hostage to buy a $500 box that's going to gather dust when that game is done being played? And somehow there are gamers in the industry who consider this a normal practice or an appropriate or an acceptable practice. I think we got to start thinking logically about the problems here. And so now that these developers are walking away from exclusivity, I rejoice. Yes, I rejoice that they're walking away from exclusivity. Why? Because the market has now come to say, no one's going to care about your exclusive game anymore. Because there are many more games on the market. Last year alone, Steam launched almost 19,000 games. And everyone's complaining about games all over the place. And even the PlayStation Showcase showed a barrage of third-party games that were coming. It was insane. Xbox, who has bought all of the rights to these games in terms of publishing, is bringing them everywhere. The market is flooded with games now. And so, yes, I'm happy about it. But that doesn't mean that the data and the evidence and what's going on is not pointing that exclusivity is also a failing proposition, seeing how PlayStation is remastering the same games that it's already sold you to sell them again to you just because it wants to pretend like exclusives are enough for them. They could easily port these games to Xbox. Now, like I've said, they can do what they want with the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they must port it to Xbox. They have to take it to Xbox. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they're admitting that I'm right. Because what do they want? They want sales. So what do? Well, they want to find a new audience. Well, they could just keep selling the game on their own platform, right? But no, they remaster the game on the same platform to sell a different copy. It's all money that they're looking for. So this is not a matter of PC players looking down on console players. I am a console player as well as I'm a PC player. If I'm going to play a game, I'll play the game where I want to play the game. You guys have all seen my Marvel Spider-Man 2 footage. You've seen my other footage from consoles that I play. I use Ghost of Tsushima footage. Where do you think I got that Ghost of Tsushima, gameplay from? Where do y'all think I get this gameplay from? I know this is a Gotham Knights one that you're seeing in front of you here. Got it. But you've seen my other ones. Where did I get that gameplay from? The Ghost of Tsushima 30 FPS one, I played Ghost of Tsushima 30 FPS on PC. I would do I would do that. I would do that? Nah, I wouldn't do that. And I enjoy games. I can play them at whatever FPS the game is going to present itself if I like the game, which is weird. I mean, I see people say, "Oh, I can't play on less than 60 FPS." That's your business. Do what you want. Go, that's your own problem. So let's not try to this is gaslighting, and it's not going to work because I never put myself in that position where I want to basically go ahead and take a jab at, another, fandom in that regard. Yes, I'm always at odds with PlayStation players because, a lot of PlayStation players are stiff-necked. That's just what it is. Very stubborn. They think that, the platform that they play on is this, I don't know what the heck it is that they think in their minds. But at the end of the day, we know that these corporations don't necessarily care about their audiences when it's all said and done. So I have to say that yes, perhaps it may come off as, a PC player, punching up and down or whatever it is. Nah, I'm taking my digs at PlayStation and Xbox and laughing at them. And the other side of this comment too that said something about PC exclusives. I want to go ahead and shed a little bit of light on this so-called thing called, PC exclusives. Most developers that keep their games on PC don't want to come to console because of the barrier to entry, which is much more restrictive than Steam. Let me give you an example. If you want to go ahead and apply to get your game on Steam, it's a $100 process that's actually very, very simple and straightforward. In fact, I did the process. I went through it. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Then I looked at Xboxes and I looked at PlayStation and all the little things that they want you to do. It's just insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a mounting in terms of a task, but without doing those things, you don't even have access to their API, to your engine. You have to first get in, and then they basically go ahead and say, you know what? Here's an API. At least Xbox is a lot more friendlier if they, approve you, where they send you your development kits. PlayStation, they make you buy your development kits. Whereas on PC, the developer can just basically use their PC to develop the game. If the game is done, they put it on PC. And then if they can make money, they come to console. If they have enough money, they make a console port. It's more of a cost issue than anything else. It's not that they're making these so-called PC exclusives, which is funny, though, because I've also seen a lot of these folks say, PCs don't have exclusives. Well, thankfully, someone's now realizing that they're exclusives. But most of these exclusives are based on, like I said, availability of funds. In some cases, Steam makes a game like Valve. They'll leave it on Steam. They're not going to take it anywhere. Epic Games makes a game. They'll leave it on Epic Games. But even they themselves wouldn't even pursue exclusivity that much. They'll go on console. So anybody saying, well, I don't see PC players saying that their own exclusives should come on console. What do PC players care? They're not as territorial or protective about the games as console players are. If anything, it's just that's a projection than anything else. This comment tried to project the console warrior archetype on a PC player. That doesn't work. I have not seen any forum, maybe there might be a fringe one out there, where PC players are saying, yeah, we don't want, console players to play our games. But I have seen many an example, Xbox side and PlayStation side, where they have been major complaints. In fact, I've shown some on the channel, the one where the Guerrilla developer was getting dragged over Horizon Zero Dawn in 2020, and then a Crap Gamer, which is the example that I use, complaining to Phil Spencer on the Xbox side when Quantum Break was going to PC. But I have not seen where a game on PC is going to console and people are like, oh, this is a bad thing. It's going to devalue the brand. You know why? It's more decentralized on PC. It's mostly a bunch of independent developers and publishers, of which nobody lays claim or lays hold to their games or to their titles like people do on the Xbox and PlayStation side. Halo is the identity, apparently, of the Xbox player. Freaking Uncharted is the identity of the PlayStation player, right? But there's no such thing on PC that I know of. Maybe you might say Half-Life, but I mean, that's more like a Valve thing, and it's an old game that hasn't had many iterations or whatever. I don't think anybody is dying or would be upset if it came to consoles. In fact, people will be happy and say, man, I'm happy that console players get to experience this stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there are not people in the Xbox and PlayStation side who will be happy as well if PC players or other people experience their games, because in all fairness, even when I tell you about these two tweets and these two incidences, there were people in the comment section from both sides that were happy for the games to go elsewhere. So I'm not even the only one who looks at exclusivity as a sour, or as a stain in the gaming industry. There are other people who actually think so, who are console players as well. So I'm not unique in that position in the way that I actually see it. So I thought I'd basically share my thoughts on this because I didn't want anybody to be misconstrued on my position. Because, yeah, my position may be that, exclusivity is A, B, C, D, E, and I'm glad that the data and the evidence is supporting my position, yes. I want to see PlayStation remaster everything so that we can finally get the memo, because they've been remastering stuff for years. And it never even occurred to me. I remember, The Last of Us and all this stuff, and I was like, man, these remasters, maybe they're improving the game and blah, blah, blah. Until they asked me to pay $10 for Uncharted Lost Legacy PS5 patch, and I said, hold on, what are we doing here? Aha, if exclusivity was that great, well, buy 3 copies of the game, let them sell it to you, and then, you can declare your love or your commitment to exclusivity after they've milked you dry, because of the fact that the sales for exclusivity are just not satisfactory, nor are they sufficient. It's that simple. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.